Hi, everybody. It's Beate, and we are live now. So let's just make sure I got it all covered right here and that things are working properly. So I'm going to just have to type in mentoring day 3 so that you know what it is called. So I'm excited to be here. And how are you doing? So go ahead and let me know how what the pulse is after this rough challenge, right? I mean, this is not something that is an easy one for us to go and look at what we've done and what works and what doesn't work. So again, I commend you for being so brave and for putting, sort of yourself out there and answering these questions and playing along with me, making sure that you are on this trajectory to success. Let's just recap while I sort of wait until everybody comes here and says hello. So I know you guys are all in the group and all happy and making, let me just make sure I got this kind of covered here. So, the profit share challenge is really a challenge. So the entire idea is that we are getting ready to work on our businesses, and we are making sure that we have sort of our the stuff that's in our way so that we kind of get rid of that and make sure that we are moving our business forward. And I have to just pause it for a second because I'm not seeing this video going live. So let me just make sure. I'm going to put this out there. Are you seeing me? To make sure that this video actually really is working, because I'm not seeing it right now. So if you see me, will you just write a little note in there to make sure that this is actually going live, because I'm not seeing anything going live at this moment, which is a little concerning to me. So let's just make sure that this is actually working. So I'm going to just keep talking until somebody says something or I'm seeing the video is going live. But this has not happened before. So far, it's been a really kind of good thing. This is very strange. So it's like nothing's happening here right now. I don't know what the deal is here. Okay, so if you're seeing me live, please just make a quick note so that it shows up so I can see that I am actually live. Here it is. Okay, that is it. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to like ramble along, but if I can see myself, then okay, thank you, Debbie. So now I know I'm here. Okay, so what we've done is we said that we are doing a challenge, and the challenge is to figure out, it's a profit share challenge. So we're sharing our challenges so we get to profit. So that's my, logical thinking. In my line of thinking, or the way I look at it, we are looking at things that we want, and then we're looking at facts, and we look at how we can take what we want and get from where we are, facts, to where we want, right? So I've said this now a couple of times to you, and that's really the way I look at this. This isn't about exposing, and I know that some of you, this was a deep dive into some emotional stuff and into really recognizing what's in your way and what are you doing and what's not working. And sometimes it's really painful. So it's about ripping that Band-Aid off and saying, is the wound bigger? Is it smaller? Is it infected? Does it need to heal? Does it need stitches? What is it that we need to be doing? So that's my objective for you, is to help you to understand about your business, that you are doing something that's not working somewhere. And let's figure out what that is and let's fix it. And there could be 1,000 different things that are not working. It could be the wrong business, could be the wrong time for the business. It could be something that you're doing. It could be your offer. It could be what you're, sort of what you're failing to do, or what you're doing too much of, or you might be over here while you really need to be doing over here. So you have used my accountability guide, which I've seen that quite a few of you have downloaded. So I think that's a very, very smart choice at growtharchitecture.biz. And it allows you to follow along, except of course Debbie, who goes all the way, and has said, I'm gonna dive in 100%, and that's great. I'm really happy that you're doing that. So let me take a look at what you've said, and let's talk about it. So Marlana said, it took me a while, but my networking is getting tight. I'm building strong relationships with a small collection of people that are referring and hiring me. I realized it's much better use of my time and energy to go deep in relations than to go wide. Great realization, because that is what this is. We're going deep, not wide. Wide, you can always broaden, but first you have to go deep, figure this out, and then you can, take that success formula, and then you can scale that. But you have to first figure out what that is. I have been asked to design a signature presentation and give it, so that's probably next on my list. Out of my comfort zone, way out. Social media, pretty but not effective. Anything else, virtually non-existing. To quote Marina, I have no strategy for all of that, so it's not working. Okay, so let's talk about that. I actually believe that email marketing right now is not working very well at all. So I've seen open rates drop. I've seen click-throughs drop. I've seen anything that has to do with technology, online, knowledge-based marketing. I've seen all of that drop. And I believe that is because everybody's doing it. It sounds all the same. And it is all the same cliche, trite stuff. And sometimes there's a couple young kids that think they have figured something out, and then they make an offer. And I had somebody like that make me an offer, and it was an astronomical offer. And there was just not enough backup to that offer for me to being wanting to say yes. So there's a number of things that need to go into being noticed by people. And as Marlana says it so well, the personal attention and people getting to know you is making a huge comeback. So the networking component, we all thought that when the internet came, we don't have to send portfolios anymore. We don't have to do client meetings. We don't have to do any more presentations. We're just going to send them to our website, and they can see it for themselves. We give them a downloadable PDF. We maybe even do a pitch deck, and voila, we never need to be meeting anybody. And so did everybody else. And now we're seeing that people, I think, are craving that personal attention. And there is now an increased desire to go out and have these meetings in person. So, and whether that's via Facebook challenge or something like that, I believe that that's something that's really, really strongly coming back. So I like the idea of best relationships are made in person, because that way you can show off your dazzling personality. And I know we have introverts here as well. It's not just always about being us extroverts, being all comfortable stealing the show, but introverts, once you got the system down, you're going to be pretty comfortable. You just can't do that for 5 days a week or 7 days a week and then go home. You're going to need to give yourself some release time to regain your energy and to kind of get that energy back up. But yes, so in the yes department, definitely personal, because you're all nice people. You all know what you're doing. So I believe that you're going to be pretty good at that. The social media. So what's happening with social media and all these kinds of strategies is you really have to come up with it's called a content marketing plan. That is an element that I see for myself, that I see with everybody else. People need to expect something from you in a particular type of order. So some people post a couple of times a day. Some people do their stories. Some people do only post once a week or twice a week. Some people do better than on videos. So it really depends on what you're good at. A content marketing plan needs to be consistent, and it should be something that you're really comfortable with. Let's go to Kinshasa. She says, it's been racking my brain, I bet, which is awesome to say the least. I'm thinking in a slightly different way than I have been. So that's wonderful. So you're already making a transformation. And you said, I'm thinking different. I knew I had issues, but I think they're deeper than I realized. For some reason, I revamped things when they were working because it was not working fast enough, or so I thought. I probably could have been further along if I would have kept it all. That's a really interesting comment. Working one-on-one communication. Once I get the meeting, sales from some blog traffic, network via Facebook groups. Not working Facebook ads. I know. ClickFunnels. Social media. I don't have a strategic plan in place. At this point, I'm not sure where to go. Every program I've paid for, going back to yesterday, has not really helped. One person says do this and another one says do that. They have years of experience and countless dollars to go toward everything. I'm not in that circle. So here's the kicker. And this is really great. I mean, I should probably pay you for saying something like this. So the problem with most people in the space is, and this goes back to the video where I told you about somebody figuring out a hack, and then they tell the world about the hack, and then they teach only that hack. So when somebody says, if you only get YouTube right, you can be a YouTube millionaire. If you can only get Twitter right, you can do a lead generation. If you can only do this, you get that. It's just not true. We have to look at our businesses from a step back. So you pull back and you say, what is the business? What does the business do? Who does the business serve? What do these people want? How am I going to package and sell it to them? So you got a very clear order, which is the 5-star success blueprint. That is growth architecture. That's why I did, because it was driving me bananas. When somebody says, yeah, this YouTube thing, or if only your courses would look better. No. You have to first get the foundational piece down. And then all the stuff that you paid for comes in when it is time for that portion. You don't need to write any copy unless you have a need to write copy. You don't need to take a course on how to make an online course unless you're ready to make an online course. But in order to make an online course, you would have to first know, here we go again, who you are, what are you selling, what are you good at, who are you selling to, what do these people need? Then you can create a course. You see? So I think that it's not so much about wasting time and wasting money. I actually believe, Kinshasa, that you will be able to tie that back in, but you first need the structure. Without the structure, it's like running around on a playground here, and here, because you don't know what comes first. And so you try different things and you throw it at it, and then nothing sticks because it can't stick because it's not in any particular kind of order. So I hope this makes sense, because that's in my world. That's what I see all the time with people say, I spent so much time and money on this and now it's all useless. It's not really useless. I've bought programs, and I buy a lot of programs because like when I need to do copywriting, I need to at least know if a copywriter does a good job or a bad job. And of course, there's always, an element that I recognize that I'm not good at, where then I need to learn a skill set. And that's what we did yesterday, where we talked about what some of the skill sets are that you're missing. So that's how it ties together, because you identify skill sets that you're bad at or not good at. Most of you are not going to be the best copywriters, and people like me who have a second language, English, while I think my writing is probably better than most American writing because I love language, but it's not my first native language. So I'm always going to have a writer to work with. That's just part of my business. And I don't like it enough for me to wanting to do that. So that goes again, into this whole picture of understanding. You got to build the structure first. You got to first know the foundational piece, and then it clicks. And Lauren is really one of those people. She had all the pieces, but she didn't have the structure. Once she had the structure, she, her YouTube channel, I just looked at it today, 47,000 people as subscribers, and she did that in like a year and a half. I mean, it's insane. But once it clicks, I promise you, it clicks. Let's go to David. David McGee. All right. So you said making sure the client is completely satisfied with the finished work and all targets achieved. Connecting personally with the client, having clearly outlined pre-production meetings so everyone is on the same page before a shoot begins. The project is wrapped, reviewing and challenges that were unexpected, how they were solved. That's clients know I'm prepared. What does not work, not having a planned schedule to reach out to current clients and businesses to see how I can help them. Not researching a client before a project begins, so I can become familiar with their history, not looking for new clients, not having my brand and business easier to find on social media and web services. So, sort of interesting. And again, I want to thank you for saying that. So what you described works is you described the features of your business. And a feature is when I go and I buy a car and it has 4 tires and a steering wheel and everything works on the car. But that's not why I'm buying a car. I'm buying a BMW because I look good in it and I really like it and I love the way it drives. So it gives me a benefit, and the benefit is an emotional benefit. So people don't hire you, David, to enjoy your pre-production meetings. That is a given, and that is a differentiation factor in your execution and in your professionalism, but that's not why you get the job. We're talking about how you're getting the job. That you get the job by people recognizing the value that you're bringing to the table. And you are not telling me about that. So that's what we want to change. We want you to look at yourself from the point of the photographer, client looking at you, the photographer, on how he can, on what he needs to see or hear for him to hire you. And that's for the photographers here. And I know we have quite a few here. Then now you go and you said the planned schedule to reach out to current clients and businesses to see how I can help them. So that's a good assessment. So everybody should have a consistent follow-up program with your clients. So if somebody's worked with you before and they like what you did, then chances that they're going to work with you again probably are pretty good. And not researching a client before a project begins. I'm not always in agreement with that. Actually, somebody, a very, very smart designer, told me this once. He goes into meetings completely unprepared, and he does that because he says, I want to go in with a clean slate. Explain to me what you're trying to do, because that will give me an assessment of where your business is. If you can explain it to me quickly and effortlessly, then I know then I understand what my job is. And if not, then I understand what my job is. And I kind of like that, because sometimes I believe we make conclusions based upon what we see that might not necessarily be the reality of it. So, but that's just sort of a side note, because I thought it was such a cool thing to say. Not looking for clients. Well, for that, you would need to know what your ideal fit client is, your Airtight Avatar, and we'll do an Airtight Avatar training on Monday. Not looking for new clients. Well, if you don't know who they are, how can you be looking for them? And not having my brand and my business be easier to find on social media. Then Deb says that what works for her, and extra points for making this so easy. You say what works is gallery shows, art shows, commissions from friends, local art affiliation, friends of friends. So it's all referral for you. Print on demand, Redbubble and Zazzle. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it means probably that you're out there somewhere and then people watch this or see your work and then they, get prints. What doesn't work, artists follow Google Plus. Google Plus is like a waste of time. Facebook advertising, no sales. Artfinder.com advertised, no sales. Saatchi Art, Van Gogh, print on demand. and all that stuff. So what you're doing is you're just listing all the services that you think are, you're so busted, Deb, that you know, because you're listing all third-party providers, and you're telling me which ones work and which ones don't work. But you know what's missing in there? You are missing in there. I want to hear from you what you are doing, not what the other people are doing, because that stuff is that's third parties. You know, that's how we are doing passive income creation. But that's not taking the eye off you. So I understand what you're doing, but I think you cheated a little bit here. This was, close enough, but not quite what I wanted you to do. And then you said the website is working. So the website then works for lead generation tool. And all of you should actually be saying that your websites are working to generate leads. And then Debbie, Debbie gets the extra points because she does all of this. So she says, she has a strategy networking mostly via LinkedIn and old friends and colleagues, and that works because she needs to learn to manage my time, spend more time doing this. It has led to new contracts and referrals. Yes, LinkedIn is a very, very powerful tool right now. Cold calling, yes and no. So she says, yes, I occasionally get a good consultant, but the time to find that one person makes growing the business this way almost impossible. Well, again, you need to know who they are. You need to know where they are going. And once you know, this is one avatar for you, by the way. So if you need consultants, and consultants are part of your business, that is a particular avatar. So you need to, or want to, create one of those for them. No, hard to find the right people to call. Also, the amount of time wasted leaving messages or emailing is not a big value add. Well, that is a strategy. When you know what the right people are and what to say to them, then that really changes. Strategy, responding to inquiries for help finding work. You said no, usually a waste of time if they're not a referral. Okay. So inquiries for help finding work, I assume that they come to you through your website or something that you put out there. If you only get tire kickers, then there's something wrong with the way the website is set up, or the way your vetting process works. Then strategy daily tasks include answering 100 plus emails, shoot me, attending update meetings with clients, minimal bookkeeping, entering new requirements into my ATS and posting on job boards, updating and closing older positions. Okay, so that's your day-to-day stuff. You said, yes, you have watched your business grow from May to today. That is impressive. Congratulations. So you are on the right track. That's what we call proof of concept. And you say you're exhausted. Well, you're in the startup phase. It's going to be like this for a little bit of a little while to come. What's not working is that I work 7 days a week, sometimes 15 hours a day, and miss having a work-life balance, fun, and sleep. Well, that's the life of an entrepreneur in a startup. I wished I could tell you that it wasn't so, but at this point in time, it is. And I'm working on this corporate side of my business with speaking and balanced leadership, and believe me, it's no different. Doesn't matter how much I've done before or my credibility, it's always the same thing. All right, so David says, okay, I will try. So he came back and he says, cold calling, I hate it. I represented myself, have never used an artist rep so far. This has worked, but I'm really considering approaching some to land more work. But I even don't like asking them. The cold call is a nightmare for me. Well, the cold call is always difficult when you don't know what to say. When you know what to say, it's easy. And when you have a script to follow, it's easy. And artist representation, I hate to tell you this, but I actually personally believe that artist representation is kind of going by the wayside. I don't think it's a sustainable business model to be an artist rep anymore. And now I'm a party pooper, huh? Maureen. So Maureen says she listened to the challenge again and then again, and finally she made the connection how important it is to have a strategy. Bam! We rang the bell. Because I lack any real overall strategy for anything about my business, I seem to drift along wondering why I struggle with making any sales. Well, is that a pain point or what we just uncovered? I can create strategies for my creative projects, but for my business, I'm in desperate need. So there you go. Now you've identified something that is a huge breakthrough for you, is to recognize that there's a structure missing. The business strategy is let's try this, or let's try this, or maybe we can try this or over this. It's willy-nilly. I do little in-person networking. And now you said, and there was an opportunity to join a local women's business marketing group, and now you're seriously considering it. See, that's very good. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, but no strategy. I post things when I think I have something interesting to share. And that's just really part of the content strategy we just talked about. I have an email list that I rarely use because I'm not sure what to say to them, because that's, back to, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you're offering, if you don't know what they're getting out of it, what do you have to say to them? For my art, I use Etsy, print on demand site. Oh, Redbubble is the print on demand site. Okay. I do new age fairs around the area, which work for some sales and some marketing. However, the overall ROI is quite small. Okay. So let's put this in perspective here and just, sort of, tighten this up a little bit. The discovery of consistency and is important. So I think we established that. But you still need to figure out what it is that you need to be consistent about. And that everything comes back to the same thing again and again and again and again. You have to have the foundational piece of your business in place. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you special? Why would anybody want to buy from you? What are you offering? What is in it for the client? And it is hands down the hardest thing to do. So we are going to go now even deeper. And it's like one more, I have like one more layer that I'm going to ask you to tomorrow. And it's going to be a hard look, and and it has something to do with finances. So now we're diving into sort of the mindset of the business owner, even more, because you said, this is what I want. This is what stands in my way, on my own way. This is what I'm doing. Part of it works, part of it doesn't work. And now we're going to go yet one more step deeper. I don't think it's going to be as difficult for you, but it's going to be maybe even more painful than that. So for those of you who are actually in this and are commenting and are live and are sharing, I really, really commend you. And I thank you so much for making this an enjoyable experience for me, because if there was nobody there, then, I know that a lot of people have downloaded this, but, not everybody has the guts to put themselves out there like you guys have been doing. And I think that's wonderful. On whether you are here live or whether you are working quietly and secretly on this. And I know a lot of people can't watch this live mentoring because they're in Europe and other parts of the world where it's now an ungodly hour. So of course, I totally get that. And I take you anywhere you come. So there's no judgment from this, but, especially for those who are live, I thank you so much. So I see you again tomorrow morning. So get some rest tonight. And I thank you again for playing along. Goodbye.